us, then welcome to the Product Marketing Festival. And for those of you that have already been tuning in, welcome back. We hope you will or have been enjoying what's going on, and we just want to take the opportunity to say thanks to all the sponsors and partners. And if you're not already signed up, don't forget to check out the Slack channel for lots more product marketing resources and discussion. Enjoy the talk.
Okay, so hello everyone, and thank you so much for attending this session where I will help you answer the age-old or the very recent question of, is product marketing right for you? Now, to quickly level set, this presentation is most beneficial for those who are new to the product marketing function or looking to break into product marketing, but of course, still relevant to all product marketers and aspiring product marketers. And with that said, let's begin. Now, very briefly about myself, I started my career as a growth marketer at various advertising agencies, managing social media advertising. And that's when I then became a product marketer for a social media product at an ad tech company, and now a PMM at a social media platform. And what led me here was focusing on the market that I know, the product I know, and the role that I could play. And I present this strictly to help those looking to get into product marketing see an example framework of how you can leverage your current knowledge base and experience to transition into a new discipline. And now diving into the main points you will undoubtedly leave this session having more knowledge on, starting with a key takeaway, which is to get a high level understanding of the function. There's no clearer way to understand whether or not you want to get into or stay in product marketing without a deeper understanding of what you would most likely encounter in the role. And another takeaway is to learn what the most common challenges product marketers face are. This is where I'll dive deeper into some of the challenges I've experienced and heard from product marketers and leaders in the space. And the third takeaway is, what are the wins or what's great about being a product marketer? This is when I'll share what all the hype I hope you heard is about and what makes product marketers excited about what they do. And last but not least, once you've understood the role and what's difficult about it and what's fun about product marketing, you'll leave here with a better understanding of, is product marketing right for you? So what is product marketing? Now I'm going to use some research from PMA, that's Product Marketing Alliance, and some of my personal experiences to help you answer this question. Now, according to Product Marketing Alliance, product marketing can be summed up as the driving force behind getting products to market and keeping them there. Product marketers are the overarching voices of the customer, masterminds of messaging, enablers of sales, and accelerators of adoption, all at the same time. Now, this is just one definition, but if you look online or ask other folks, you're going to get very distinct answers based on their experiences or what they find most valuable to highlight. So to me personally, as long as it addresses launching products and understanding the market, it's pretty accurate. But what I would recommend for you as a task is to look up these unique definitions, identify which resonates most to you, tweak it if you need to, and own it. Doing this alone, especially early in your career, will help you overcome many challenges you might face in the role, and you'll see what I mean later on in the presentation. Now, in terms of what that high-level overview really means, here's my favorite framework that details what activities the role entails, from discovery to growth. Some product marketers may cover every aspect of this framework. Others may focus on some parts more than others, but I recommend getting familiar with all of these pieces and the unique phases. In the next few slides, I'll cover more in depth what these phases mean and what they entail. So, starting with discovery, this is when you're researching the state of the market. What are customers and prospects challenged with? What are their needs? How is your competition meeting or not meeting these needs? And how do we translate this data or information into something our business can take action on and build a solution for? Once you've identified, for example, your market is looking for a more effective way to drive sales, strategy is when you align on goals and how to reach them. This is where you define your go to market and the scale of your launch. How you define success for your product could be in the form of revenue or adoption, and what success means for customers using your product. Positioning is how you make your solution make sense to your prospects. This is when, depending on your approach, you define the value your product provides, who it's for, and the use cases. You don't want to position a bandage as something you layer over your cut and sticks to your skin, but instead it helps protect you from further infection and heals your wound. Something as simple as effectively positioning your product can have a tremendous impact on the success of your business. Now that you've developed a product, a strategy, and your positioning, how do you get it in the hands of your customers and prospects? How do you make them aware? This is when you train and enable internal market facing teams, you run your marketing campaigns, and arm your sales force accordingly. And last but not least, growth is the phase after your product is in the market and in the hands of your customers. This is when you optimize and improve your product by quantitatively tracking usage. This is how it's being used and who is using it, by identifying objectives, and by hearing qualitative feedback from your customers. This is when you might identify there's a segment using your product you didn't expect would, and you begin to market to this segment. Or when you've heard your product is great, but it takes too long to implement, so that has become a huge barrier for usage. This is when you surface these insights to product, marketing, and sales to improve the product and drive more revenue. And these 5 stages I summarized can be categorized into 2 common themes: inbound and outbound product marketing. This is how you will often hear product marketing responsibilities categorized, and something you want to get familiar with as you're continuing your product marketing journey or looking to enter a new product marketing role. Now, in terms of the difference of the two and what they mean, inbound product marketing are tasks that inform the development and enhancement of a product. Who you are, you're basically someone who's passionate about research and data. You also understand the market well. This is the competition, challenges, or personas. This is likely because you were previously or currently in a role where you also interacted or engaged with this market. And what you'll do, while you'll still be collaborating with some of the usual suspects a product marketer would work with, you'll mostly work with the product organization. And in terms of tasks, you'll be mainly focused on MRDs, business cases, and other research-focused tasks. And this is where, in terms of those phases I mentioned before, you'll likely be more focused on discovery, strategy, and growth. And in terms of outbound, the other end of this, outbound are tasks that help sell the product and drive adoption. You're typically more passionate about the marketing side of things. You understand the product well, how to speak about it and convey its value. This is likely because you either use the product or marketed a very similar product or competitor. And what you'll do, you'll most likely work with sales and marketing while still working with other folks, mostly with this part of the organization. And example tasks are tasks that help launch and develop a go-to-market for these upcoming products, such as a one-sheet battle card, web page, and blogs. And you'll be more focused on tactics, positioning, and growth. And you'll see growth here twice, because after a product is launched, that inbound A process is to dissect some of the information, some of the usage, and some of the feedback you've received. And the outbound piece is where you might update messaging based on some of the feedback you received. Engage with new markets based on some of the success you've seen or other usage from other markets you haven't initially targeted, you might identify. And in terms of KPIs and success metrics, now that we know the definition, the roles and responsibilities, here are some of the objectives and key results the product marketing role is mostly measured on. And this comes from a recent paper released by PMA, where they categorize these OKRs into effectiveness of your launch or go to market, sales success, marketing, and finally, product adoption. Also, in addition or in lieu of these, I did also want to include two most common ways I have personally seen the role measured against, and again, from personal experience and conversation with other hiring managers. And product marketing today is often measured by either the business outcome of the role, such as how much revenue did the product they launched generate, what are the adoption numbers, etc., or unfortunately, the output of the role. This comes in the form of collateral and how much content they're producing for a launch. Not ideal or an accurate measure of the effectiveness of your work, but indeed a form of measurement some teams still follow today. And with that said, that wraps up this overview of product marketing. I do want to reiterate, this is just a high-level look at the role. So for those still looking to learn more and gain some best practices, please check out some of the resources you see here. And of course, continue attending sessions throughout the week. And now in the next few slides, I will cover the 3 most common challenges product marketers face to also show you the difficulties and struggles of product marketing and the whole truth about the role. And now, to no one's surprise, the number 1 most common challenge, and frankly, what I'm sure brought most of you here, is that no one understands the role, or at least many don't. So when you explain it, you often hear, you mean business development? Oh, so you're in content. Oh, you're the voice of the customer. Okay, I get it. You're CS. Oh, you drive adoption, so you must be product. And according to PMA State of the Product Marketing Survey, a number of survey respondents said that the role of product marketing is often confused with other roles like content marketing. And as a result, another frustration survey respondents, reported was that other teams in the company didn't understand the true value of the role. And a recommendation or recommended solution here is once you've defined the product marketer's role, make sure to communicate its value across your entire organization. Now, I do want to say this passage in the report is written for hiring managers and those hiring product marketers, but it's still very relevant for some entering the role. Make sure to define the role you're in or applying for and get a clearer understanding of it from your manager and who you're working with. Then make sure you communicate it clearly to the teams you will be working with. And here we have from Rachel Lambert from Olivine Marketing. She's coached a few leaders who aren't making any headway in the company after hiring a product marketer. It's almost always because they hired a product marketer, but they wanted something else like a content marketer. But she recommends get clear on the role by looking at other product marketing job descriptions at leading companies like Google and Spotify. This report will help too, and quite frankly, this presentation is intended to as well. And again, this passage from Rachel is directed to CEOs or VPs of product marketing, but it is important for you to understand this as well as you're entering the function. Now, in summary, you're looking to enter a role that has varying definitions, but this is something that is being solved institutionally and a challenge you can overcome yourself if you're up for it. So make sure you understand the role you're in, your objectives, and communicate it clearly so that your stakeholders understand as well. And before you know it, everyone around you will understand your role. But of course, there's always going to still be some room for growth. And now moving on to the next challenge, limited resources, or in other words, limited bandwidth is the second biggest challenge product marketers face today, and is something that was somewhat alluded to when I was describing the roles and responsibilities earlier. Now, this is because most product marketers, they're responsible for multiple products. One third are responsible for 5 or more products to be exact, and 74% are responsible for more than 2 products. And that becomes a challenge as they also support and collaborate with various functions such as business development, product, CS, and more. Now imagine this across several products. This makes it difficult to become the voice of the customer when everything is just noise at some point. And how do you become the champion of the product when you manage so many of them? Well, luckily, limited bandwidth is a challenge many product marketers face, but also overcome. That starts with allocating your time appropriately, identifying with your manager what products should you focus on most, as well as what KPIs you're measured on. For example, if your core products are a big part of your business, try to formally allocate your time and resources more on the company's bigger products that you manage than the smaller ones that drive less results. And align your time with your KPIs. If your biggest priority is feature adoption, identify the most effective tactics at driving feature adoption and implement them on your focus product areas to make the best use of your time. And here's an example of what that might look like. Here you have sales asking for one thing, product another, and marketing another, and that's just within the same day. So always make sure you understand the goal and the need for your support. This is important because quite often you may recognize, for example, if sales needs a one sheet to increase consideration for a feature, then they may not need a one sheet at all. Here's this other asset we've seen more successful and increasing consideration if that's the objective. Or if time is of the essence and there are other higher priority needs, then maybe a video you had previously created will suffice. And in terms of demand, this is a mix of demand and impact. You want to know what the potential revenue your organization might generate if this does increase consideration for this prospect or adoption for this product, and or how many customers or prospects are asking for it. And I use revenue as the impact or example KPI, but this can be adoption, deal size, output, or whatever your KPI is. And in this example, you may want to prioritize the product request because this new product will most likely drive usage from 45 customers and generate 11 million in additional revenue. And you could potentially layer on additional data such as win-loss analysis, showing that 8 top customers have churned because you didn't have this feature beforehand. So this is some of the data that you want to inform your decision making. And here's another great tidbit coming from Jasmine at Intercom. Staying organized will help everything run smoother, especially in a fast-moving environment where you're running big cross-functional launches. So with better prioritization and organization, you'll feel more confident and more equipped to effectively execute your duties. Now, let's move on to the third biggest challenge, which is not having enough influence. While this may not sound like a major one, it's a unique challenge to product marketers. This is because we can only be truly successful if we are able to take our insights and drive change and leverage our knowledge of the market, product, and competitive landscape to inform decisions. On average, Product marketers rate their influence on the product roadmap at a 6 out of 10 score. While not on the lower end of the scale, this score has room for improvement given the scope of a product marketer's role. Because of this lack of influence, the role is then seen more as a support role and less of a strategic one. But what does having more influence mean? It means better products being shipped because we can leverage our insights from customers and prospects to inform that decision making. Improve prioritization as we're identifying demand, impact, TAM, market size, etc., to help influence what new features we're prioritizing, and increased advantages against competitors because we're tracking threats, opportunities, and competitive intelligence. And to emphasize the challenge, Jasmine frankly states that a lot of companies just treat product marketers as launch machines. And from talking to customers and people in the company, product marketers have so many valuable insights that can help influence their product roadmap. These are additional reasons why it's important for us to have influence within our organizations. So how do you overcome this and begin to increase your influence or be prepared to as you look to enter the role? From a relationship standpoint, be involved in stakeholder meetings. Make sure you have a position in it and something to offer. Also understand their goals and get involved and involve them early and often. And from a tactical standpoint, clearly define and convey your role and knowledge and showcase your input through unique activities that you own, such as buyer personas, battle cards, and messaging. And Bozina from Typeform says, as a product marketer, you need to know how to work with a diverse group of people across the company. It's critical to understand how to influence stakeholders and bring the right information and data to the table to help inform decision making. So not only is it important, it's critical for product marketers to have a voice and influence on decisions and decision making within the organization. And Rachel from Olivine Marketing states, you need to be able to effectively communicate to other people within the organization what you're trying to accomplish. When people know what you're working on and what your goals are, and they like you because you've been helpful to them, they'll send insightful tidbits your way. And as a result, she gives a great example of the sales team possibly even coming to you and letting you know they've just had a juicy conversation with a customer they think you should also meet. And this reiterates the point of effectively communicating with others and being clear on your goals. So now by building relationships, gaining buy-in, and communicating effectively, you too will have more influence within your organization and product roadmap. Now, in summary, here are some of the challenges that can be overcome. So if you're looking to enter product marketing, you need to understand that there is a lack of understanding within the role. And if that doesn't deter you, this is easy to overcome by identifying and clearly conveying your role, goals, and responsibilities. We're also expected to manage a lot, but if you can prioritize and communicate, well, this becomes even easier. And if lack of influence is an exciting challenge you want to overcome, then start by gaining buy-in, collaborating, and communicating effectively. And now, what about the wins, Louis? You've been bombarding us with all of the challenges. So what's so exciting about product marketing? Well, I have the answers for you. First off, launching products. Very few things are more exciting than this. And what's even better is that 83% of product marketers report managing product launches as a core responsibility. Most big organizations, most of their biggest endeavors are fueled by, and businesses are created based on the products they bring to market. And as a product marketer, you will have complete ownership of this process. And another exciting part about product marketing is being an expert on the product and market and the competitive landscape. And all of this is exciting, especially if you're product marketing for an organization you truly believe in. And what else is exciting is the cross-functional nature of the role. More than 75% of product marketers collaborate with product, marketing, and sales. So every day there's another team member or even department that you're collaborating with. So the role never becomes boring or completely siloed or one-dimensional. And let's talk about fluidity. Because there are unique responsibilities such as inbound and outbound, and the role can vary based on organization, you can pursue roles that align with what you enjoy most. If you like research and data more, you can identify inbound heavy roles, or if you want, you can find a role with a healthy mix of both and apply strictly for those types of roles. And of course, last but certainly not least, community. We're talking meetups, Slack groups, happy hours, even now, virtual happy hours, a mentorship program, AMAs and conferences, the opportunities to network, the opportunities to learn and just have overall fun within the product marketing function is just phenomenal. And those were some of the amazing wins and what makes being a product marketer quite exciting. But I don't want to leave you there. I do want to get into, is product marketing right for you? Now, let me get into the reason you joined the session to know if this is the role you should be a part of, if it's right for you, if you'll succeed and enjoy the road and the path to come. Now, starting with the most useful skills to have as a product marketer, according to a PMA survey, with creativity and problem solving being the number one recommended skill to have or learn to succeed in product marketing, followed by collaborating with coworkers, strategic planning, empathy, research, and content. And these are skills you need to align with in order to succeed in the role. And to add a qualitative insight from Uber's Laura Jones, being great at positioning products will set you up for success because you can get to the fundamental value of a product in a way that's understandable for users. And according to the State of Product Marketing report, 11% of product marketers want to become entrepreneurs, while 67% report that they want to continue to move up the product marketing ladder. Now, according to a separate report on C-Suite's perception of product marketing, 49% of executives see product marketers in their organization eventually becoming CMOs. So these are traditional trajectories for a product marketing manager and something to consider if you're looking to grow within the role. And if you see these challenges and think they're too easy, no one understands the role, limited resources, not enough influence, it's too easy and not a concern, then product marketing might be for you. And the wins, do you look forward to collaboration, being an expert, launching products, fluidity, community? If you answered, heck yeah, then product marketing just might be for you. And what about the skills you need? Collaborating, telling stories, solving problems. If these are skills you have now or strive to obtain, then you should probably listen to this person here. And now, if you said yes to all of the above, the challenges are easy, the wins are exciting, the problem-solving aspect of it is glorious, and the opportunities are amazing, then, quite frankly, product marketing is indeed right for you. Now, Thank you so much for attending this session. I hope I helped you leave here with either a firm understanding that product marketing isn't for you or a newfound excitement, vigor, and eagerness to become a product marketer. And once again, thank you. I've left some of my contact information here. I hope you enjoyed, learn, and I appreciate your time. Thank you and have